All right, guys, good morning. Bright and early Sunday morning here in Appalachia. So, did some work yesterday to the goat enclosure. Let's just say that I quickly learned that flexible electric fencing was probably not for me, at least not the way I'm using the goats right now. So I'm gonna let the chickens out real quick. Come hither, my flock. There's the chickens. If you've seen any of my recent uploads, you've known that they've completely stopped laying. I'm gonna do another video on that soon because most everybody I've talked to, their chickens have stopped laying this time of year, but we have a friend who's still getting the same amount of eggs they were getting in the summer. So we're going to try to adopt some of their strategies and see how that goes. But yeah, back to the goats. The electric fencing was just a bit of a pain if you don't have a nice manicured, groomed area to put it. If it touches any vegetation, it doesn't want to work. And I'll admit I didn't have the good Premier One stuff. I had the Royal King brand stuff. It did work good if you took the time to set it up, but then every time you move it, you better have a weed eater, better make sure everything's manicured down good, or you're gonna have issues for sure. And then I also had a goat almost die when it got its head and horns trapped in that netting and wrapped it around its neck while the fence wasn't on. So besides that, we had tried just this like wire mesh stuff because it was cheap and quick at the time. And this stuff is fine, but you can't really stretch it. And I don't have anything to stretch it, so it can hold in these pygmy goats, but it's not really going to hold in big goats, especially. I'm only dealing in pygmies right now, but I've found what seems to work for me the best. And it's this cattle panel, guys. This stuff is pretty awesome. Yes, he could probably get his head through here and get stuck, but he's not going to kill himself. Can't strangle himself in any way. I really don't think he could really. It'd be tough. He could do it, but he'd probably figure out his way out eventually. But this stuff, as long as we have a little support every once in a while, it pretty much supports itself. You know, no stretching or anything like that needed, and we can easily move it around. These are the 16-foot sections, which are the most common, but you can find, I think it's Tractor Supply that offers these in 8-foot sections with smaller holes, so one person can more easily move them around. So basically what we did is we have our barn here and an old shed here, and we have all the goats together right now because we're trying to breed, but whenever we do need to separate them, we have an extra piece of cattle panel here, and we can just put it sideways right here and separate the buck from the female, or however we decide to do it. And my plan is, I have this hillside that stretches for like a quarter mile that way and that way, and it just stays so overgrown in the summer you can't even see down into this hayfield hardly. So I would love to just be able to buy, you know, a few $100s every year in cattle panel, and just basically fence in this whole hillside and let these goats just live and thrive off the hillside, add more to the herd, and kind of start eating this hillside down. Either that or I'm just going to take my bulldozer to it. I haven't decided yet, but the hillside's basically useless to me. It's so thick in the summer, I can't even walk down through there to get to the hayfield, so it's useless. I'd love these goats to live off of it for a while. So then this buck here, he's pretty spry. Yesterday he climbed all the way to the top of this fence. His front hoofs were on the very top of this fence and was eating these leaves. He's definitely an interesting fella. And your horns are getting big, buddy. Your horns are getting big. Your horns are getting big. Good boy. That boy. He's that boy. That's Hank. He's our buck. That's Grim, our Weather, and Bullseye, our little pygmy female. So yeah, they've got a lot more room now. Before this, you can probably see they only had this little square, and I needed more room for the power company to be able to access the pole. I knew that was just temporary, but the square was okay for 1 goat, but it was not big enough for 3 goats. It was just turning to mud in the winter. So yep, got all that taken care of. They've got more room. They seem happy. I got some little bit of trash and stuff to pick up out of their area I'm gonna work on today. But all right guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. I don't have a set schedule and updates for this channel. I have 6 or 7 other YouTube channels that take priority over this one. But I will always be uploading to this channel for sure. So subscribe, shoot me comments, and I will eventually get back to you. Appreciate you watching so much. See you in the next one.